I'm so happy to be sitting down with Ty Scott King. Ty Scott King has been fine tuning a unique balance between poetry and hip hop for decades. A Grammy nominated poet, Ty has performed at the United States Pentagon, shared stages with industry greats, and awed international audiences. Referred to by many as the Maya Angelou of this generation, Ty uses her God given gift of words to remind others of their worth and purpose. As a celebrated voiceover artist, Ty has lent her poetic delivery to global brands such as McDonald's, Aveeno, and Pizza Hut, earning her the coveted Silver Mike Award. Her influence extends to appearances on major television networks like BET, TV1, and TBN. She has also repeatedly claimed spots on the Billboard music charts. Ty's eclectic list of accomplishments also include ranking among the top U.S. poets at the National Poetry Slam level for 3 years, hosting both internationally broadcast television and radio show, and breaking ground in the legendary award winning group Platinum Souls. The one shy Jamaican born US raised girl who began writing when she was just 8 years old, then attended a school of arts, continues to spread faith, hope, and love through her potent words. Ty, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Faye. I feel like it's like I watch my husband and I watch Frasier still. I know it's off, but we still watch the reruns, and it's like, welcome to
Yeah.
Seattle. You have a radio voice. You have a
Thank
radio voice.
you.
A beautiful
Oh my
face
gosh.
that requires television, but also a
Oh my
radio
gosh.
voice.
Well, thank you so much. And you guys, if you're listening to the podcast right now, go over to the YouTube and just look at Ty. She's gorgeous, the most beautiful, beautiful woman and creative. So let's get right into it. Ty and just a little backstory. Ty and I have a unique connection through the Grammy U program with the Recording Academy. But Ty, you are an amazing woman of God as well. And this season, we're talking a lot more about spirituality and faith and how we infuse that with our creativity for healing. And today's topic, as you know, is about the healing power of creative writing. So,
Mhm.
what inspired you to pick up your pen?
Yeah, so in my bio, you read that I've been writing since I was 8 years old. I come from a fairly big family. I have five siblings that I grew up with. So I'm number five of six. And my parents did a great job. I have a mom, a dad, and a stepdad. Along the way, they all did a great job. But when I was specifically young, like 7, 8, I kind of felt lost in the sauce because it's like six kids, So I feel like the things that my family was going through, like my parents they had split up and then they got back together and it was rocky. And so writing for me was like a way to escape. It was a way to put all of my emotions on paper. And it was a way for me to just deal with things. Like I had a great childhood. I'm not saying that I didn't, but life has ups and downs. And so picking up the pen for me just felt natural. I felt drawn to writing out my emotions. And so it started really early and just never stopped.
I love that. And thank you for being so honest and vulnerable about your upbringing and just like, the experiences that you had that may not have at that time been as pleasant or something that you wanted to go through, as a kid, but the writing was a escape for you.
Yes.
Um, is it still the same for you? Is it still an escape for you?
Um, I wouldn't say an escape because I don't know. When I was younger, it's like I loved my life, but I felt like I needed to get away. As an adult, I don't necessarily feel like I need to get away or hit the pause button most times. So it's not an escape, it's more of a release. It's more like,
Mm,
okay, I have these feelings and these emotions and let me put them out because those words can not only help me, but they can help someone else. So it's very multi-layered, I guess.
wow, I love that. I'm so glad that you said that because, it can evolve, and it feels
Yeah.
like it evolved from something as being like this safe space for you, to now it's something that other people can also enjoy and experience from you as this creative who is in touch with herself and can
Yeah.
express that in her writing. And I know you have a book, Doses, you have a book as well. So, and you have a new song out, Look Mama, and it's just so many things. And I know we have a special announcement, towards the middle of this interview that we'll get into. So you guys stick around for whatever that special announcement is. But for your book, Doses, and that's more of like a creative
Right.
writing project, right? So can you
Right.
tell us more about Doses?
Yeah. So I have it here. I know people who are listening won't be able to see it, but you can come on
Yeah,
YouTube. See, that's
we
why you
can
got
come
to
on
come on
YouTube.
YouTube.
I love
So
that cover.
Doses is my third fiction book. And this one, it's called Doses, Love and Friendship in Vibrant Pieces. And it's more of a vignette. So it has several short stories, just exploring relationships of different kinds. And, tried to insert some humor in there. I'm married, so there's a story about a married couple and just a variety of things that we go through. So I love writing poetry. I'm a poet to my core, and then that evolved into rapping. But being able to like write stories that I feel like people can relate to, especially adults.
Mhm.
It's not like adult content where kids could never pick it up and read it. But, just as I've grown, as I've matured, like these are the kinds of stories that I've heard about or seen. And so I wanted to, put my hat in the bucket and tell the story of these people from different perspectives, different walks of life, and just how they're using their lives, how they're telling their story, like they're characters, but they came to life to me. And so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like, especially one of the stories about a particular young lady who's dealing with some things, she's able to find some healing in the vignette about her. Like, okay, we're very connected people. And so healing doesn't just happen in silos, right? And that's why poetry is important. That's why writing is important. That's why sharing these things that we're going through is important. And so in this book, there are, funny stories, the majority of them, but there's one that really tells a story about healing. And I thought that was necessary.
Oh yeah, I love Doses. You guys, if you haven't read
Thank you.
Doses yet, go ahead and to your favorite book retailer and pick it up. I know it's on Amazon and it's a best-selling book, you guys. It's an amazing book. I read it so quickly. I was just like, "Oh my God, this is like so delicious." Like the storyline and the interconnectedness between the characters really stood out to me. And I think I even asked you, did you ever consider, going into like the TV and film industry because of your the writing style? You kind of
Thank you.
connected the plots together.
Thank you.
I think that's so amazing.
Thank
So
you.
definitely go get Doses, guys. Yes, yes, yes. So and that was such a eye-opening book for me too, because it touches on friendships
Yeah.
and it touches on so many elements too, just about life and how you may be living and experiencing one story, and somebody else could be
Yeah.
kind of you guys are embarging in each other's worlds, but in a completely different story of your own. So
Right.
creatively bringing those things together, I thought that was so clever on your
Thank you.
part to really show the both sides like that. So congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
So and I know I don't want to gloss over the beginning because the beginning is so important, but I'm just so intrigued by you just in general. When did that transition happen for you when you knew that this safe space was now evolving into something that could potentially be, a real career?
Well, I went to School of the Arts. I was fortunate to, I grew up in Miami, so we have our Florida connection. But I went to School of the Arts and I thought singing was going to be the thing. And so I sing, but I'm no Pay Murray, So I do my little thing.
Aw, stop. I heard her sing, guys. You can listen to some of her songs where she's singing on there. She sounds beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. So I really thought singing was going to be the thing, and I played the piano, and so that whole side of music, and so I would say it wasn't. So I would write poetry, and I remember being in high school, and people would come to me. They'd want me to like rewrite their poems. Guy was crushing on a girl, or vice versa, and so that's what I would do. I just like, come here, give me that pen and paper. Let me write you a love note.
I
Um,
love that.
and so it was more, the poetry side was more of a hobby, but I used that to help me write songs. And so it always was helpful. And when I After I graduated from college, I moved to LA and I had two friends there. And we went out. They took me to a poetry spot, which I didn't know that's where we were going. And they were like, look, you need to get up on that stage. And it was Leimert Park for anybody who's familiar with LA. And I was brand new. I didn't know anything about the city, but they were like, you get up there or we're leaving you here. And so when I touched that stage, and I'm pretty sure I had like my notebook, I don't think I had anything memorized. It was just, I felt at home. And so the journey from like 8 to 20 something, all of the writing, all the songwriting, all the learning, the music, I think all of that really, well, I know all of that really helped me. And I still use it pretty much in my daily life. But on that stage in LA in my 20s was when it was like a light bulb moment. And then my friends and I went to another spot and another spot and another spot. And then I found my crew, which was the Poetry Lounge, and started slamming and going to national poetry slams. And it became more obvious to me, like, this is a way of life. It can be. There's so much opportunity, and there's more opportunity now than there was 20 years ago. But it's like my friends and I, my poetry friends and I, we're still friends now, we would like literally write poems the day of and then get on stage that night and do them. Like we were just, it was just such a
Now,
love for the art form.
now, is it true that you know Omari Hardwick?
It's funny.
Is that true? You guys
I
like
glanced over at my photo album. I have so many pictures of Omari that I could I could just sure he'd
that is so
appreciate them, but they'd
amazing.
be funny. Younger Ty and Omari. Yes. Yeah, we've been
That
friends
is so
for
cool.
decades. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for those of you who need a reminder or don't know, Omari Hardwick is the star of the hit TV show um, Power, and he plays this very popular character, Ghost. So, and he is very big in the poetry scene as
Yeah.
well. And I was just curious, just to confirm that that is so cool that you guys like just had that poetry connection, and
Yeah.
that's so cool. Maybe a feature in the future,
Yeah, we
like maybe we could speak
definitely
that into existence.
we were talking during a lot more during last Grammy season because he had an album that was being considered as he was nominated for a Grammy, and so
That's
we were talking a lot more during that season just about poetry in general and life and
that's so
the
cool.
things that we could possibly do. So we'll see.
That's amazing. And I just love the aspect of what you're touching on about community,
Yeah,
right? And how writing and just expressing and like you're saying, releasing what you're feeling on the inside, it can bring you to your tribe.
yeah,
And I think that's a part of that healing power of
yes,
the writing experience
yeah,
in general. So I guess was there ever a time in particular that you remember writing sort of being and maybe not when you were younger, but as an adult, going through life, going through different complexities and experiences. Do you remember a pivotal moment where writing was sort of that saving grace again? And can you sort of just take us for the women who are listening who are dealing with those complexities and just maybe some painful things and they don't really know what to turn to, or maybe they may not have the best relationship with God right now, they want to strengthen that. But sometimes I feel like writing is the channel to get closer to God unknowingly. So I was just curious if you had any experience like that as an adult, where writing was sort of that channel for you to get closer to God.
yeah. I would say that in general, writing has specifically poetry. It's helped me name the things that I was carrying. So I'm married now. I've been married a long time, but like I definitely wrote a lot of breakup poems. And when my mom passed a few years ago, I wrote a poem about her, which I haven't even shared yet, but it helped me. It took me probably 2 years to write a poem about that. But eventually I did, so it was really helpful. And just there's a poem that I remember writing in my 20s, and it was just a short thing that, and I would use it pretty much as a prayer. And it says, when there's an aching in my heart that I just can't release, I take it to the Lord and he gives me his peace. He speaks to my soul with words that I can never understand and encourages my spirit to trust in his plan. When all things appear to be falling down around me, I lift my eyes to the Lord who can see what I can't see. For he knows tomorrow as if it were today, and he will guide me through it all, if to him I will pray. And it became like this poetic prayer that I would just say over and over again. And that was decades ago, but God is still using that now to speak to me, to, release, to speak to other people. Like all those aches, all those things, we can take them to him. And he's good. He's faithful. We're broken, but for me overall, poetry allows me to express the sacred things, the broken things, the beautiful things, all in one poem. And it's a journey every time I get to put pen to paper. And I'm still one of those people. I like to put pen to paper or pencil to paper. I'll type things, but I like that writing. I like to see my words in my handwriting. It just does something. And as it like fills up, as I write and it's like a blank page and then it's full, it's always amazing to me. Like, wow, I got to write this. I got to write this poem that tells this depth and breadth and emotion, all the things that I'm feeling. So overall, I would say it's really been overall, not just one particular thing. It's like I've seen the more that I write, the more God shows up, basically.
Thank you for sharing that. And I don't want to gloss over the fact either that you shared that you lost your mom. And I'm so sorry for your loss. And thank
Thank
you
you.
for just opening up with us, today about that, because grief in general, I know that's something that it's a longer journey, it's a ongoing healing cycle. So thank you
Mhm.
for sharing that and your beautiful poem.
Thank
And it truly, the words of it, I mean, you were right. It reads like a prayer and just hits your soul. And just thank you so much for also giving us that perspective of a reminder that even when we are weak, he is strong.
you.
And that writing can be that, ability to give language
Yeah,
to what you're feeling inside if you don't even know for sure how to put a pin on it yourself.
yeah. It's
But thank you
therapeutic.
for sharing that.
It's very therapeutic,
Very therapeutic.
and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be this thing where it rhymes all the time or it has this structure. Like, don't write what you think sounds good. Write what you feel because your emotions, your experience. A lot of times we feel like I'm the only one going through this. And when you write what you're feeling, odds are there's someone else out there feeling that same thing. So don't don't waste the opportunity. I think especially with poetry, because I've spent so much time in the poetry lounges, poetry spaces. People are very open. There's what's the word I'm looking for? Open is the only word that I can think of. There's an openness in people when they come to those kinds of spaces, and they will allow you to pour into them. And so the more honest we are about our emotions, I'm not saying tell all your business. Some people can do that. Some people aren't comfortable going that deep in public. Whatever level you're comfortable with, just be honest. Like, don't try to mimic other people. Don't take anybody else's style. Like, I remember writing a poem about that. Like, I'm not trying to take anybody else's style. I'm trying to show up as me, say what I feel like God has put on my heart to say, and somebody's going to connect. There's always going to be somebody who connects because we're just an interconnected people. Like, it's just a fact.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And just in you speaking right now, I feel like there's so much healing that's going on right now. So especially for those who are going to be listening to this, just really just tapping in this moment
Mhm.
with your own openness as a listener and really just receive. And Ty, you truly are a gem for us
Thank you.
today. And
Thank
you
you.
just and you have so much going on right now, and I'm super excited for you. But when you speak, there's something about when you speak, it has this healing property with it. And your voice just has so much purpose in this world. And I thank you for continuing to share your voice and share your authenticity and your vulnerability with us as well. And you have a new song out as well called Look Mama.
I do.
Can you talk to us about Look Mama and the place you were in when you wrote that?
Yeah, yeah. So similar, or I guess an extension of what I was saying earlier about my mom passing and then like writing a poem. My mom passed in 2020. I don't believe I wrote a poem until 23 or 24. I mean, it was very recently that I wrote that poem and it was for something specific. And so, that was the trauma that I needed to release, I guess. But then this year I was like, I want to celebrate. Um, I feel like my siblings, my dad, my stepdad, we always celebrate my mom. Relatives, everybody celebrates her. She was just a light and a lovely person and so dainty. Oh my gosh, my mom was dainty. But it's just this year I wanted to like really celebrate her, especially with Mother's Day that just passed. Mother's Day has always been very multi-layered and it became more difficult after my mom passed. And so I was like, bump that. This year we gonna celebrate for all the look mama moments. And so now we're in graduation season and it's like, okay, look, mama, I made it. Like I made it through all these things. Have I arrived? Am I the pinnacle, the perfection of what I'm trying to be? All the things put into me. Have I achieved the apex of my life? No, but mama, I made it. You know what I'm saying? I made it through XYZ. I made it to graduation. I made it through another day. Like I made it to this destination that you always wanted to go to, like literally whatever it is. There's so many look mama moments that so many of us can have. And I know there are people who don't have their mom, so it's like for your grandmother, your mother figure, like there's somebody that you're like, look, I made it.
Yes. And I love that song so much. And it truly is a part of a soundtrack to our lives. And I love the way that you write music because you consider the experience that we're having and you give some part of yourself to us for
Mhm.
us in these experiences of our own. And I love Look Mama. You guys go stream Look Mama right now. I love that song so much. And you're right, it's a celebration. So it feels like, at this point in your life, just looking at the glass half full as opposed to half empty and pouring that also into your writing. How do you think, and sometimes people who are of different beliefs, and don't want to get too much into the spiritual aspect of like writing and manifestation, and things like that, but is there some connectivity to, in your own opinion, to kind of like writing your life or writing, the experiences that you want to have in your life? Do you think writing has any connectivity to the experiences that you have in life?
Um, I'm not going to name the person because he's very polarizing, but someone said, if I can see it, then I can be it or do it, whatever the lyrics were. So I do think that writing out the things that we feel like this is supposed to be my path, or eventually I'm supposed to get to this place. I do think writing it out helps us to one, verbalize it, to see it. Like I said, I like to write things with my own handwriting. There's just something about seeing it that it's like, okay, there's a possibility. Like to me, getting it out makes it more real and makes it like, okay, I'm a high achiever. I've taken multiple personality things and achieving is usually at the top. So for me, it's like once I write it down, it's a list. I got to do it now. There's no going back from it unless it's just something crazy. But yeah, I definitely do believe that us getting out what's in our head and what's in our heart onto paper or, cutting out a picture, posting it up, just seeing it over and over again does something for our spirit. And I think it drives us and it draws us, it pulls us, all those things closer to what it is we believe we're supposed to do or have.
Mm, thank you for that. Thank you for your perspective on that. I was really curious. Um because I think I've even had this moment with you where I'm like, Ty, I don't really know if I want to like write negative or like share something negative in my writing, because when I think about like the power of writing in general, I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't want to speak anything like over myself that isn't positive, but at the same
Yeah.
time I feel like there has to be, like this balance of
Yes.
being honest where you are and honest about, what you're feeling, but at the
Mm.
same time remembering to use that same power to speak life over yourself
Yeah.
and write the things that you do want, and put more energy and focus into that. And I think you strike that balance so well, in
Thank
your
you.
writing and in your
Thank
creative writing as well. And I know you have, I think we're at that point in the episode, guys, where we get to reveal what the surprise is. And I know you have a new upcoming spoken word album
you.
coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you. It's to
Can you
speak to
share
the
us about that?
balance, of course. But to speak to the balance you were talking about, again, it's that broken and beautiful, right? So as writers, as creatives, we get to walk a line, and we can choose to basically end it on the beautiful. Yes, things are broken, and sometimes, we're still in the middle of the brokenness, but I don't know. I just prefer to lean into the hope, lean into the possibilities. And speaking of hope and possibilities, because I'm full of that as I write and record for this new album. So yes, I am in the recording stage now. Just started recording yesterday, actually, for my spoken word album. So right now I have 10 tracks. One or two are going to be a cappella. I'm going to record them all, and then I think I'm going to make some cuts. I may cut out one or two. I don't know. We'll see. But 10 is the max. And so I'm going to be submitting again. For the last 2 years, I've submitted my spoken word albums for to the Recording Academy for Grammy consideration. So I've been considered for 2 years, and then last year I was on um, a blues album, a contemporary blues album called The Fury, and by Antonio Vergara, and that's I was doing poetry on there, so that's how I got nominated for a Grammy last year. But I'm hopeful that this year I'll be considered and then move to nominee and then maybe win, possibly winner. All things are possible. And so yeah, I'm in the beginning stages of recording. So I'm halfway through recording and I'll be recording more today and then listening back.
Amen. And thank you so much for sharing that. We're claiming that one in advance. Amen. And I know you also have another project that's currently out right now, Come Sunday. So what can you say will be different between Come Sunday and this new album? What can we expect as far as the nuances between the both?
Um, so come Sunday was more about like my relationship with God. What did it look like before I had one? Because I didn't grow up going to church. I ran the streets. I did all kind of things. And so it was the evolution of that coming into my faith. That faith journey was what Come Sunday was about. I would say that this new album is it's a little more moody. And it has a little more of the brokenness. I would say a little more of the brokenness, but then kind of on that journey from broken to okay, what does the growth look like? What's the beautiful? So yeah, that's the difference. The broken to
What's the
beautiful.
beautiful?
Yeah.
What's the beautiful? That phrase just really stood out to me just now. What's the beautiful in it all, you know? And I think
Mhm.
that this new project that you're working on, it sounds like an amazing just cohesiveness of
Mhm.
all of the experiences that you had coming into this moment, and really, sharing that brokenness like you said, but looking for what is the beautiful in it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I love that so much, Ty. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for you. Oh my gosh. Oh
And
my
this
gosh, you
this
guys.
interview, this interview definitely connects with that album
Mhm.
because it's a lot more, this album was a lot more hard work, I think. Like really looking at um, the things that I think about myself, the the person that the person that I am, the person I want to be, just a lot more consideration of those things. Like, okay, it's like I'm thinking of the tracks and I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, I would say it's been a lot more hard work to write for this album.
Hard work to the artwork.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Thank you, Ty. Oh my gosh. So, if there's anything at all that you could say to a woman right now who feels like her halo is dimmed and life has experiences in life have just taken a lot of her light and she's not shining in the way that she knows she can. What is something that you can say to her that's listening right now?
Um, First I would say that a lot of times we're harder on ourselves than other people. And so give yourself more grace. That's number one. Um, Number two, the place that you are has a purpose. Everything has a purpose. Um, I remember many, many, many years ago hearing someone talk about the storms that we go through in life. And the person said, um, at the end of the storm, when the storm is over, the things that are left are the things that you needed. Everything else that disappeared throughout the storm, those things were not what you need. And so if you're going through any kind of storm, just know that what you come out with is what's necessary for your next. Um, and just try to, if it's writing, just be honest, like we talked about earlier. Even if all you can write is, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. Just write, this sucks. Be real about where you are, but then try to find the hope. Okay, this sucks. What what can I change? What do I want to happen? What do I want to happen next? Everything is not in our control. Most times, yeah, a lot of things are not in our control. But try to control the things that you can. And usually that's you and your decisions. So if it sucks now, just think about what you want it to look like. There's a quote that I love. It's by Henry David Thoreau. And he says, if you've built your castles in the air, your work need not be lost. There is where they should be. Now build foundations under them. So a lot of times the lofty goals and the dreams we have, or even just simple things. Like my husband and I, we live in an apartment right now. I'm not used to this apartment living. I want a house, you know? So like, okay, I want this house. That's my aspiration. Now, how do I get to that? What are the steps we need to take? Um, so you cannot swallow the whole ocean. It's impossible. And you probably wouldn't want to. So give yourself grace, write it out, think of what you can do now, the work you can do on yourself, and just take the steps one step at a time to get to that goal that you have. It's possible. All things are possible.
Amen. Ty Scott King, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We honor you. We celebrate you. And we give you your flowers. Woo! How can we stay connected with you? How can we find you?
Yeah, so I am on all social media outlets. My handle is I am Ty Scott King. So that's TY Scott King, like Coretta. And I love making new friends. If there's anything that I can do, any way that I can help be of assistance, point in the right direction. I love being a connector. I think that's one of my strongest gifts. I like I like pairing people up. It's fun. I like my friends to become friends with my friends. It's a thing for me. And so, yeah, you can find me on social platforms, or you can go to my website, tyscottking.com.
Thank you so much for being here today, you guys. Go connect with Ty right now, right now. And again, make sure you're streaming Look Mama. Make sure you're getting the book doses, and be sure to look for that upcoming spoken word album, which is coming up very soon. So stay connected with Ty. Ty, we thank you. We appreciate you. And to all the listeners, we hope that today put a little spark back into your halo.